Horse all plays. Horse sports all plays. Horse sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Horse sports all plays.
All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Just Say the Truth here on the All Sports All Play Network. I'm joined by a great panel tonight. To my left, I got Nate Great, going to be helping running production. He's not going to be just popping in for little tidbits and poking at Freddie a lot, which seems to be the thing that you like to do because it's probably the most fun. Nate, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing amazing right now. I don't like to talk about my favorite NBA team right now because of how they've been struggling a lot lately this year, but they are seem to be having a lead, and I'm seem to be happy about that. But other words, I'm doing really well.
Okay. And then, of course, right below me, we got the sensei. She was here ready to school Freddie, but Freddie can't handle all that pressure and all that heat, so she had to we're going to have her tone it back a little bit on Freddie. But we're lucky to have her tonight. Sensei, how are you, ma'am?
I am doing great. I can't complain. Ready to talk sports. I was ready, like I said, Tony, to school with Freddie, but he be on the run, so got to save it for another time.
I know he can't be catching the smoke. And then, of course, we got to save the best for last. We got to save the man himself, Jonathan. Seems to know everybody, is able to mentor everybody. Jonathan, how are you tonight?
How you guys doing, man? I'm doing good. It's always a great night when we could talk sports, right?
Right, it is.
Oh yeah.
And right now, I'm happy. My Spartans are currently winning right now against Minnesota in basketball, but we'll see if that stays true. All right, so we have seen a lot throughout this NFL season. Every time we try to get an idea of what's going to go on with the NFL season, try to get some type of predictability out there, it completely and totally just goes out the window. So one of our first topics is, with Lamar Jackson having recently fallen to the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's now 1-2 against them in his career, if I remember right. Is it time to worry that Lamar Jackson has started to slump, and especially in the fact that he can't beat an aging Ben Roethlisberger right now? Sensei, you came up with the majority of these topics, so I'm going to have you go first on this.
I think it is just because there's always been questions about Lamar and the big moments. Especially now that it's starting to dwindle down and we're getting closer to like playoffs and things of that nature. Right now should be the time that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens should be clicking. And right now they seem to be unraveling. For the last couple of weeks, they've really been struggling against the competition that they've played against so far. So it definitely is cause for concern at this particular moment. I think he can turn it around. It's just that, like I said, there's always been questions about him in these moments, so that's why I think it's cause for concern, because now you're starting to prove those people right instead of prove those people wrong. You know what I mean? And so that's what makes me like draw to kind of scale it back a little bit as far as it pertains to him. Is that and like you said, he couldn't beat an aging Ben Roethlisberger when it gets to that point, because I mean Ben Roethlisberger is a shell of himself at this point. So when you can't beat a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's not really a great team. It's kind of concerning, at least for me. I don't know how you guys feel, but that's just what I see.
Yeah, Nate, what do you think?
Ever since Lamar Jackson came in the league, he's always been the type of guy that can get you regular season wins, but when things come to the playoffs, it's definitely a different game for the Ravens. But a lot of his I noticed that his MVP season, he's first when it comes to passing touchdowns, but he finished in 22nd out of all quarterbacks in the NFL his MVP season in passing yards. So a lot of this is he's great in the red zone and all that. That's neat and dandy, but he's always been a running type of quarterback, and I don't think that can really get things accomplished once playoffs come to hit. Now, as of last night's game, I think I noticed that we've seen this a lot, where a lot of these, and I'm not blaming it entirely on Lamar. I'm not saying that, hey, but what I'm trying to say is there's been a lot of quarterbacks that has struggled against a particular team. I'm like, there's this like little, I don't want to say curse, but it basically is. Justin Herbert is 1-2 against Denver, and Denver has not lost to Dallas since like '95. But it's so I'm not blaming that on the fact that he can't seem to beat Pittsburgh. I'm just saying that he's able to get the wins, even though that he has this one particular opponent that he's been struggling against.
Okay. Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, there's definitely a cause for concern with Lamar Jackson. I mean, Lamar Jackson is not able to quarterback his team on a consistent level. And, at this time of the season, as you start to go into a critical juncture, you have to be able to make plays. And this team, I feel like, is fading, fading away at the worst possible time. He's thrown a lot of interceptions this season. He's one of the quarterbacks that has had the most turnovers. He's on the same list with Joe Burrow and some of those guys who, haven't done a great job in taking care of the football. And Lamar Jackson, already gets a bad rap ever since he came into the league. And now he's not able to provide the spark that's needed offensively, especially for a team that's been, hit hard by injury. Lamar Jackson has to take matters into his own hands and has to step up to lead this offense, and he hasn't been able to do that. This is a Baltimore Ravens team that's been held that has been held, I believe, if I'm right, held to 20 points or less in the last 4 games. So, I mean, when you look at the statistic, that's not a great statistic when you have arguably a dual threat quarterback like Lamar Jackson, a guy who has the mechanics to make the throws down the field, a guy who has the ability to elude the pressure, inside the pocket and make plays with his feet. This is a guy who can hurt you in so many ways. But here's another thing, too. The offensive line is a bit questionable, too, for the Baltimore Ravens. So, I mean, it's not all on Lamar Jackson. But, of course, Lamar Jackson is going to take a large portion of the blame because he's the guy who's under center, and he's the quarterback of the team, obviously.
So Yoel brought up a good point. Jackson has a skill set like no other. He needs to learn how to read defenses. And I completely agree with you. His strength is running on the ground, and and I get it that they beaten the Tennessee Titans, but that game was not on Lamar. Lamar was not the reason why they beat Tennessee last year.
Yeah, Coach.
What's up, Coach?
Pass the same question to you. Is it time for Ravens fans and everybody and their mama to be worried about Lamar Jackson's recent slump with the Ravens?
Yes and no. I mean, that make the playoffs, but like every year, I think the biggest issue for Lamar is athletic wise. He's the most athletic guy on the field. It's when you get to the goal line And if you watch some of his interceptions, he can't really read the defense because a lot of it is a guessing game. So I'm gonna blame a lot of it on James on Harbaugh because he's not putting Lamar in the best situation. And then one time you saw Pittsburgh, they brought the house and they ran a man. He just can't read it because he doesn't know who's the hot and he doesn't know who's open. I think that's one of the biggest issues. But that's the thing that I've said from the beginning. He's an athlete playing quarterback. And when you have an athlete playing quarterback, he's gonna do what he does best. He's gonna think, run first. And he's been living off his athletic ability.
Well, I'm gonna ask you, Coach, because you're our football expert. Because I'm gonna throw a name out here that's probably gonna shock a lot of people. So if y'all remember, well, some of y'all might remember, Brett Favre talked about how he can't read defenses. He couldn't read defenses for the longest time. Hey Favre, it's a nickel blitz, and Favre is like, what the hell is that? And he had to ask his backup quarterback what a nickel blitz is. Do you think that Lamar is going to have kind of the same thing with Brett Favre? Because you notice Brett Favre was just a gunslinger, and he would just throw it up there and go for it.
But that's the thing when you talk to Brett Favre, he thought he could make every throw.
Right.
So therefore, he doesn't look to run the ball. When you have somebody like Lamar, realize, and we're gonna talk about this Sunday on Touchdown Crew. One thing about Lamar is he's been running the ball since 7th grade. Like he's been freestyling like this since 7th grade. And when you got guys like that's been doing it for the rest of their entire life, it's hard to make that switch. Mm-hmm. And it's like he has to teach because he didn't pay attention to some of that stuff because he's like, I'm more athletic than everybody.
Yeah.
And I say, and that's the thing. When you look at Brett Favre was the gunslinger. He didn't never just take off running to run. He looks to throw first and then run.
So and I think that's sorry. I mean, so I know the comparison always gets brought up because to me the only quarterback that I can remember that actually I think matches Lamar's skill set was Michael Vick, as far as because if you remember, even with Atlanta and then especially when he went into Philly, that was the biggest issue that Andy Reid had with Vick was Vick liked to run the ball before he liked to throw the ball. And that was, I think, a lot of the reasons why he and Vick kind of failed in Philly because they only had about 2 good years out of each other there in Philly before that experiment was pretty much over. Do you think Lamar may end up having the same thing with Harbaugh?
No, because I mean he's gonna get. Here's what I believe: athletic quarterbacks that runs first and throws second will not get you to the Super Bowl. They can get you to the playoffs. If you see Vic got you to the playoffs, Lamar, since his rookie year, got you to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But if you're expecting to win the Super Bowl, because now it's at that point where you have to make the reads, you guys have to make the plays. Everybody has film on you. Everybody knows. They know what you can throw and what you can't throw, especially an athletic quarterback like him. So then now that everybody schemes it, now that's where he gets in his trouble. Because again, like I said from the beginning, when you're an athletic person that thinks run before they think pass, that puts you in a bind. And then there's times he's gonna miss throws. Because he can't read it. Because you don't take the time just to read all that.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to kind of move on a little bit. So the Patriots are obviously on a massive winning streak. They've won, 7 games here in a row. The last team to beat them was my Cowboys. Just want to throw that out there. Since then, they're 7-0. And obviously the Bucs are still the defending champs. The Bucs are still the team to beat until basically proven otherwise. Do you think that a Bucs and Patriots Super Bowl is in the near future? Coach, I'm going to start with you because the Buccaneers are your team.
Hell no. Don't sit here and look. I'm not a believer of the Patriots. I know everybody ragged me all week because the Bills lost. I just don't see it. Because, again, it goes in the playoffs. Guess what? Your quarterback has to make a throw. He has to make throws. And you can rely on your defense. You can say all these things, but you have to make a throw. And I don't see the Cowboys. I don't see the Patriots making the throws. Even defensively, the rush is good. And if it wasn't for a 75 miles per hour wind, technically the Bills would score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, they drove the field. They was inside the red zone. They was inside the red zone, 4 times? So
Yeah.
I don't see it. I know a lot of people. Like I said, I see them. They're not even going to be number 1 seed. I have them picking losing 3 games this year. But I mean, I know that everybody wants to see the Patriots and Bucks Super Bowl, but no.
Jonathan, what about you? Do you see the Bucks and Patriots in the Super Bowl?
They're more fascinated with the storyline. That's all it is. It's Belichick versus Brady. That's what everyone wants to see. They feel like if we get that matchup, that Super Bowl matchup, it'll be epic theater. It will also, push that narrative all week long leading up to the Super Bowl. But I don't know. It's too early to tell. I mean, this has been a year of unpredictability. I mean, you really don't know how this is going to end up being. I mean, New England's playing good football. A month into the season, they got off to a 1-3 start, and look at them now. Months later, they're leading their division, which is hard to believe in a sense because a lot of people have Buffalo as heavy favorites to win that division, and as you see now, the Bills are not all what it was cranked up to be. But I don't know if we're gonna get that fairy tale Super Bowl that people all of a sudden are dreaming of.
What'd you say about the Bills?
I had the Bills winning that division.
What'd you say?
Here comes good. Here comes go. Be petty.
All right, Sensei, what about you? Do you think Bucks and Patriots
I
are going
had
to
the
be?
Bills winning that division.
I don't think so. I think that like kind of like Jonathan was saying, and sorry, bro, not to cut you off, but I think that it's this fairy tale fantasy that the NFL I think wants to happen, and the fans, also the media, not even the fans, but just the media also want that to happen because that is the ultimate matchup. That is a meeting of the minds, a Super Bowl, in my opinion, because you have Tom Brady, who for a lot of people that they consider him the GOAT, and he's gone and left the Patriots. He's won a championship without Bill Belichick. Now, and the question was, now everybody was like, oh, well, the Patriots' success was all Tom Brady because he's won without Bill Belichick. But now Bill Belichick is back in the position where he's winning again, and he seems to have found his quarterback of the future. So it's a narrative that people are trying to create, which is why I posed the question as far as the topic, because I just been seeing everybody's talking about how well the Patriots are doing, and then the Buccaneers are still at the top of their division. So it's just like it's kind of was leading into that. But realistically, I don't see the Patriots making the Super Bowl this year. I think that they still need some time. I think that they still need some pieces. I don't necessarily trust Mac Jones in the big game because we don't even have a sample size of him in big games. Right. So who's to say that they get to the playoffs and then the team just completely falls apart, which can happen because he is a rookie quarterback. So I'm not sure if I see it on their end. I can see the Bucs going back to the Super Bowl. Obviously they have Tom Brady, but I'm not sure about the Patriots just yet.
And that's the thing right there. Like Coach was saying, Mac Jones is going to have to, pass the ball more. He's going to have to deliver some throws down the field. I'm not sure if he's there yet. And they can't just rely on that running game. I know the running game has been remarkable, has done this thing, but you need more than a running game if you're going to win the Super Bowl and if you're going to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Nate, what about you?
So when was the last time we've seen a rookie quarterback make a Super Bowl? And that's really, so to answer that question,
I think the closest was Ben Roethlisberger, but I don't think that was till his second year of being in.
Yeah, I think it was his second year when he went.
I mean, if you say that, you can say Tom Brady because it was his second year.
Yeah, Tom, Ben.
Tom and Ben probably be the closest to being rookies. They were only one. It was only their second year, like you said, when they made it. So that would be the closest that I could think of.
Right.
I'm looking it up right now, and right now, like, unless if I'm seeing this wrong, there has not been one in Super Bowl era. I mean, there's been two that have made the Super Bowl in their first year, but there has not been a quarterback to make it on the rookie season.
That's an interesting fact.
Like first year as a starter, not first year as in the league.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
to answer that question, I don't think New England's going to make it. And
Yeah.
to be blunt, I don't think the Bucks are either. For one reason, you go
There's
into the
Coach.
playoffs, like I said,
Uh-oh, Coach.
You triggered Coach a little bit.
it's a different. Basically, it's a different game, and the Bucks have added since last season. They've added in what Richard Sherman, and that's it.
But they returned all 24 starters.
But that's the point.
24.
You said it yourself. Well, except it's for talking about Lamar Jackson. People are going to start. I'm not saying that Tom Brady. It's nothing taken away from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just think that it's going to come to a point in a playoff game that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to. People have film on this team.
Yeah, they have film on this team, but
thing-
they also have seasoned veterans on that team that's done it a year ago.
What would
And
you?
can get back there if they're at full strength.
But they don't have a lot more new pieces.
It doesn't. All right, I'll say this. And this is the honest truth. If AB don't come back, I can kind of agree with you. But if AB comes back, AB is the wild card because you have to realize you have to make a decision on what you're gonna do with the safeties. Are you gonna keep a safety over Mike Evans because he's a vertical threat? You're gonna keep a safety over Gronk because he kills you. But then that's the question. Are you gonna when you have Gronk, are you gonna run nickel? Where you gonna put an extra DB in so they just gonna pound it on you? Or are you gonna have a safety guard Gronk?
Right.
If you have a safety on Gronk, guess who's wide open? AB. There's not a corner, when we all know that it's not a corner that can guard AB one-on-one.
I think somebody asked if Russ made a Super Bowl his rookie year.
Nope. Russ was.
I think it was the second or third year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah,
it was
there's been a few quarterbacks that have made it their second and third year, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you gotta realize this, Nate. With all the injuries, you have to throw the ball on Tampa Bay. You can't run the ball.
Yeah. Well, and I'll be honest too. So, coming from somebody that has never liked Tom Brady, athlete, I don't mind. I don't like Tom Brady as a person. No, actually, vice versa. I like Tom Brady as a person. Can't stand him as an athlete. Yeah, I completely got that wrong. I've watched that man throw a temper tantrum like a grown child. It was disgusting. But to me, I don't see it because I kind of agree with Coach. When you look at the rest of the Patriots schedule, they have to face the Colts, which the Colts have been very good against good teams. You know, they've held the Rams. They gave the Rams a big fit early on when the Rams actually were a very legitimate threat. No offense to you, Jonathan, because I know that's your team. They gave the Seahawks a big run for their money. They gave the Bills. They gave the Ravens. You know, they have given all the big teams. They have been in every single contest that they've played. It's not like they've been completely blown out by any of these teams. Heck, they gave the Buccaneers a run for their money all the way down to pretty much the last play of the game. So the Colts are not going to be an easy fet for the Patriots to go through. Then they have to face the Bills again, but this time it'll be in Foxborough. Then they have to face the Jags, and then they have to go down to Miami, which historically New England has never done well going down to Miami for whatever reason. So to me, I still said that I had them losing at least 3 more. I had them finishing 10-7. I have to agree with Coach. Now, I'll be honest with you. I did have them splitting with the Bills. It'll be interesting to see if that still ends up coming to fruition or not. Because to me, I would have them losing against Indy, the Bills, and against the Dolphins. Because the Dolphins are also on a roll. The Bucks, I could see it just because, it is the Bucks. Again, Tom Brady being there, he always gives them a legitimate chance. But I will say this, though. I will make a deal with Roger Goodell. You can have the Patriots Bucks storyline for this Super Bowl, but if you do, the Patriots are never to go to another damn Super Bowl, and Tom Brady needs to freaking retire if that happens. That's my only deal. Like, the Patriots never go to another Super Bowl. Tom Brady never goes to another Super Bowl. The man retires, and then I'll be set. You can have all that matchup, all you flipping want. I don't care what the score is. I don't care who wins. But that's good.
Well, Patriots not going, so you can make that bet all you want.
Oh no, I'm just trying to make a deal. I'm just trying to make a deal to get the Patriots back to being a bottom feeder organization like they were before Brady got there.
Yep.
Trying to get Tom Brady to freaking retire. It's all I want, just retire. But anyway, we'll move on for last NFL topic anyway. So we've seen a lot of teams last year that went into the playoffs, and they have, well, except for one, has actually struggled. We notice now the Chiefs have started to look like they make a turnaround. Apparently, Joe said that's not fair. Coach and Tony are in a secret partnership to bring me and my Patriots down. It's no secret, Joe. You know I'm not a big Patriots fan. I like you, but I don't like the Patriots.
I can't stand. Well, Tom Brady's gone, so I guess I don't really care about the team anymore.
That's true. Now I don't really care. It's just 20 years of just hearing nothing but the Patriots. It gets old. It's like Cowboys fans. It's like, no, put the VHS tapes away. I'll admit it. VHS tapes away until we do something different. Cowboys aren't relevant. But which team has the best chance to turn it around, though, after winning last week? Do you think the Chiefs have the best chance of turning it around and potentially going a deep run to the playoffs again like they have the last couple of years? Do the Steelers, because for whatever reason, the Steelers are still hanging in there in every single game that they're in, or the Chargers? Now, the Chargers, to me, have been so hit and miss. You know, they'll beat really good teams, and then they'll face a bad team, and then they just get absolutely obliterated when they do. They were destroying Cincinnati, and then Joe Burrow got hurt. Joe Burrow started to make a lot of mistakes, and then they were finally able to capitalize. The Steelers, I don't trust the Steelers because I swear Ben Roethlisberger does get winded whenever he has to throw like a deep pass to somebody, and I don't really see him throwing a whole lot of deep passes. To me, if I had to pick, I would say the Chiefs. We've noticed ever since really that game against Vegas, the Chiefs have finally kind of turned it around. That defense is playing a lot more solidly. I think Spagnuolo has finally started to at least get them to the point where they're making it work. Coach has brought it up a lot. They finally moved Chris Jones back into the interior, which is big. Once you disrupt that center and that guard, or you have to get those double team, that allows your edge rushers to be able to make plays. And at least in the secondary perspective, Tyrann Mathieu isn't bad. Tyrann Mathieu, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Jamal Adams in the fact of you never really see him make a lot of picks, but you know he's going to have really good coverage on every single wide receiver or tight end that he's playing coverage on. But that's me. I have the Chiefs actually probably turning it around the most, and then probably the Chargers second, and then the Steelers last. And then whoever wants to go next, I'll hand it off to y'all.
I have the Chiefs too. I think the Chiefs. You're starting to see a turnaround with the team. This is a team that has bounced back and won 5 consecutive games to put themselves back into the thick of the AFC postseason race. They look really, really good. The defense is starting to come around, but I still have my questions about the Chiefs' offense.
I agree with you on the offense.
You heard Patrick Mahomes talk a little bit about it. He said that he takes full responsibility for the team's offensive roles, and that he's going to have to make better decisions with the football. He's thrown a ton of interceptions this year. I think that's been the apparent difference with that Chiefs offense. But if Patrick Mahomes is able to eliminate some of those mistakes, this team could be back in business, because there's no question that they have the offensive firepower. Patrick Mahomes definitely has playmakers around him. He's shown us in the past what he can do with the offense that he has around him. But I think defenses are not as intimidated because they have film on him and they know what's coming their way. But I do think the Chiefs, if there's one team I'm betting on, it's the Chiefs to get it right and hopefully turn the corner. And you got to remember, too, they have Andy Reid, who's a creator for that offense. So, I will say the Chiefs as well, Tony.
Alrighty. Sensei, who do you have, ma'am?
I have the Chiefs as well. I think that the Chiefs needed a little bit of humble pie to kind of get on this run, just because the last two seasons they've started out hot and just been just been on fire, and it just everything just seems so easy, like it came so easy to them. So I think that they kind of needed to be hit in the mouth a little bit, and I think that now that they're starting to wake up, everything is starting to click a little bit, like Jonathan said. The offense is still kind of slow, but it's at least more steady than it was before. I feel like in the past couple of weeks, it was kind of chaotic. There was really no sense of what they were trying to do. It was kind of just like, we're just going to put the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands and hope he makes something happen. And so I think they're finally starting to understand now that they have to be a lot more cohesive on offense in order to make that offense powerful and use all the weapons that they have. The defense is also was a big woe for them, which they're finally starting to play well. So if I had to rank them, I think I would have the same list as Tony. It would be the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Steelers. I still don't trust Ben Roethlisberger as far as I can throw him. And I mean, he can't even throw that far, so that really don't even count too much. But I think that the Chargers, they definitely have a better opportunity than the Steelers to turn it around. The Steelers right now, still, even with the last few wins that they've ratted off, they still don't look like a good team to me. Like they just look like a better team than the teams that they've played, but they still don't look like a good team to me. So yeah, that would be my list.
Okay, Nate, what about you?
Unfortunately, I have to go with the Chiefs as well. You know, I feel like I do have issues with all three teams. Patrick Mahomes has been throwing a lot of interceptions lately. But to be honest, even though that they aren't the same Chiefs team that has that firepower, giving you 30, 40 points a game. They are doing enough to get you the wins. And so they're probably, out of all three of those teams, they're the ones I think they're going to turn it around the most. Now the Chargers are way too inconsistent. For whatever reason, Chargers, they go out putting 40 points on teams like the Steelers and the Bengals, but yet they can't do anything. They can do anything against the Vikings. They kept a close game against Philadelphia. Obviously, I brought up the loss against Denver 2 weeks ago. Thank you for that. But I think that Chargers are my number 2 for that, and number 3 has to be Pittsburgh. Really, the only thing I like about this team has to be their defense. Offensive line is not the same, but definitely terrible at the running game. Dave Ben needs to retire. Receivers aren't the best out there in the league. The only thing I like is their defense, and even the defense is not the same as last year.
Okay. What about you, Coach? Who do you have turning around?
Man, I said this from the beginning when everybody was hating on him. I'm gonna ride with the East Texas boy, Pat Mahomes. I said it, and y'all love it. Hey, people are like, oh my God, they're 0-3. Nobody cares. Like, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Secondly, it's the toss up for the the second spot. I'm gonna ride with the Pittsburgh Steelers. One thing about the Chargers is a very soft team. And if you notice any team that's physical with them, they fold under the pressure. So they have to play the Broncos again. And then and I say this, and I got Steelers going second just because I believe in Tomlin. Number one, Tomlin never had a losing record. And he's figuring it out with Big Ben. No matter what, they can get beat by 75 points.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but they had a tied 8-8 record with Devin Hodges and Mason Rudolph.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's not losing though.
They were 8-8.
There's not losing.
That's
500.
I'm just saying. It's 8-8. Yeah, it's not a winning record, but they had that with those two guys.
I mean, that would give him credit because think about it. If you had that two bad at quarterbacks and you still finish 500, like that's better than what most like. Look at the Giants. Like the Giants can't get to 500 with their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback.
So my thing is, regardless, I don't trust the Chargers. They look good. Quarterback look good. Receivers look good. But we all know they soft.
Oh, Justin Herbert, he's definitely the future. But I feel like there's something missing with that Charger team.
But they haven't. Again, it's one of those things where it hasn't all clicked with them because they're not a physical team. You look at the games that they played against, or even the games that they lost. The Broncos. Broncos is a physical team. They want to run the ball. The Vikings is a physical team. They want to run the ball. The Patriots. That's a physical team that wants to run the ball. The Ravens, physical team that wants to run the ball.
Right.
Like you look, hell, you can even put the Cowboys in there because at the beginning they tried to run the ball on them. Like that's the thing. That's the one thing in football you have to be able to stop the run. You have to be physical. So they're my third. I'm gonna ride with the Steelers.
And here's another thing too. The Bengals looked really good against the Chargers early in that game. The game just got away from them because they had too many takeaways, and the Chargers took advantage of those turnovers.
All right, so let's move into the NBA topics a little bit here.
Oh yeah,
Coach, what's so mesmerizing?
Coach.
Coach, ready.
What's so mesmerizing?
Coach, ain't nobody worried about you, man. Ain't nobody worried about you, man.
For the first time, I've been watching NBA for the past week just because of one person. I thought he was gonna be on the show. He ain't on the show. Because they just got. I saw the Bulls just got slaughtered, and I'm looking at these killers over here. They owning all these bottom feeder teams, but that's another story.
That's what I was just asking. That's what I was just asking, Coach. What was so mesmerizing? Because I saw you kept looking up at the TV.
Don't worry about it. Come on, Tony. Let's get this going, baby.
All right, so we'll save this one for probably close to last because if we don't, we're gonna pretty much that's gonna be our only NBA topic.
No,
all right. So it recently came out. Dame Lillard said that he wants a 2-year, over $100 million contract. The current Trailblazer GM position, everybody that has even remotely thought about taking that job has said absolutely not. We're not paying that. We will trade him first. So he should be traded, but where would you like to see Damian Lillard go? Sensei, where would you like to see him go? I'll get to you.
That's right. That's right, Coach. That's right, Coach. Fall back and learn something. If I'm the Portland Trailblazers, or if I'm Dame Lillard, just depending on how it unfolds, because it could be a situation where he becomes a free agent and he can decide where he wants to go. I think my first option would be Philly. I think because if you can trade him for Ben Simmons, get him in there with Embiid, I think that definitely elevates them as a team. And if you're able to keep some of the role players that they have currently as well, like a Seth Curry, because I mean, Dame with a consistent shooter that can shoot the way Seth Curry can. Is gonna be insane. And then you have Embiid on the inside. Tobias Harris. Like if like I said, they're able to keep some of their nucleus as far as like the role players. Him with Embiid, I think would be impressive. That would be my first option if I was him. If my second option, which this is kind of a sleeper team, and I don't know, you guys might disagree with me, but I would go with Minnesota because you take a young talent like an Anthony Edwards, you take another young talent like Karl Anthony Towns with a scorer like Dame Lillard. I think that would make them a lot more interesting because they're right on, like they're like a superstar away from being like at least a contending team, in my opinion. I feel like they just need one major piece there to kind of push them above, push them into contention. But other than that, those are the only two teams right now that really make sense because the top contending teams, they already pretty much are set in stone. They don't really have the money or don't really have the cap space for a guy like Dame Lillard. So he doesn't want to go to a team that's rebuilding because that would be pointless. You know what I'm saying? That's worse than what he has in Portland. So I mean, if you're looking at teams that are like right there on the cusp that are on the rise, it has to be those two teams.
Now, Sensei, I'm going to ask you before I hand it over to Coach. Do you think it's a money thing, or do you think it's now that Portland maybe isn't off to as hot of a start as Dame probably thought they would be like they were last year? Do you think this is Dame's way of saying, I don't want to be traded, but I'm going to kind of force your hand and force you to trade me, and it'll make it seem like you guys just didn't want to pay me the money that I feel that I'm owed?
Yes, I think it's a combination of things because I think that Dame is such a loyal guy and he's pretty much doubled down on the whole like I don't want to leave Portland. I want to win here. I don't want to join a super team. I'm not, a super team guy. I want to just grind it out and figure it out. So now that he's doubled down, people are gonna fire shots at him because it's gonna be like, oh well, you said this, but now you're demanding a trade, or now you're gonna go play for such and such or play with this person. So I think he doesn't want to really he wants to be traded, but he doesn't want to catch the fallout from saying he wants to be traded because no matter the situation when it comes to superstar players, if they come out and say I want to be traded, no matter what the situation they're in, they're gonna get criticism. They're gonna get criticism for it because as a player, you're not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be the team trades you, and then you know what I'm saying. Then it's a weird dynamic as far as like how it comes across in the media. Basically, is so much what I'm trying to say. So I think that Dame is trying to avoid that criticism because he doesn't want to be seen as a guy who I said one thing and did another thing. Mm-hmm. So I think he's kind of just like you said, putting the Blazers in a position where it's either pay me or you're going to have to trade me because then I don't look like the bad guy because everybody knows the loyalty that I put into Portland. You know that I was trying to stay here. You know I was trying to win here. And now you traded me. So my hands are clean because you can't say I demanded a trader that I didn't want to be there. It's that you guys, you pretty much, you got rid of me basically in so many words.
Right. Okay. All right, Coach, what do you think?
To be honest with you, he's the type of player wherever he goes, he's gonna make them better. Like I said, I can kind of understand.
I agree with you on that.
To a degree, I can say you can say Philly. I mean, hell, you can say Miami. You can say Boston. You can say New York. New York could be. I think for Dame,
I was going to say that actually.
That'd be interesting.
To put his, because one thing about it is I done came to the conclusion, especially being around listening to you guys when we talk about sports and stuff. New York right now is he will be a king.
He'll be box office.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure, without a doubt.
Hands down.
They'll have kids named after him out there in New York.
What? Him, Dame in the Garden shooting from 25 feet is insane. Insane.
That's what I'm saying. If he wants to, I mean, honestly, truthfully, if you truly want to make a name of yourself, like be out there because automatically if he balls out in New York, like he puts his rankings go higher just because he's in New York. Because everybody's going to talk about it. I mean, you look at ESPN, majority of them cats is from the East Coast, so they're going to really talk praise. So I think New York out of all of them is the best fit. But anywhere he goes, he can make it happen.
That's actually a good point, Coach. I didn't really think about him in New York, but now that you say that, like you said, he would be honestly he would I mean, the Knicks are still above the Nets, even though the Nets are the better team, just because it's a Knicks town. But he would really elevate beyond that if he was able to go to the Knicks and he's able to get them at least to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like that's all he really would have to do. Like winning the championship obviously would send him otherworldly, but if he's at least able to get them to the Eastern Conference Finals, like could you imagine that? Like that would be insane. Like wow. Yeah, that's a good pick, Coach.
Yeah. All right. Nate, who do you got?
Well, I had two teams in mind. Both of them actually have been mentioned. One of them would be the Philadelphia 76ers. and the other one actually was what Coach just said, the New York Knicks. And I feel like the New York Knicks really need a true number one on the roster, a true beater that even though it's not a team veteran, he's been on the New York Knicks roster, and he's been under the Tom Thibodeau head coaching style. He is, a veteran in the NBA aspect. I think he is going to make the team better. And then, oh gosh, Damian Lillard and Joel Embiid, that combo is just going to be insane.
Yeah, I'd agree. Jonathan, what about you?
Any place he goes, like Coach said, he'll make the team better. He'll elevate the players around him. But guys, I think another suitor that a lot of people are not talking about is the Dallas Mavericks. I think Mark Cuban be in play for him. Hey, you want to keep your superstar happy? He's a disgruntled player. You pair him up with someone else that's disgruntled, and hey, I mean, they could do amazing things together on the court. I mean, that would be fun to watch. I would actually watch that team more often if those two guys teamed up and made something happen. That would be a prolific backcourt for sure. I think Damian Lillard will fit in well there. Also, remember, Jason Kidd was one of his preferred candidates, that he wanted to be coach in that he wanted to coach when important. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think that's a nice destination as well, and maybe he could end up going there. I would also say the Lakers, but hey, I don't want to hear it from the Laker critics, so I'm not going to say the Lakers.
Listen, Jonathan, I am with you 10,012%, okay? 10,012%. I will drop off.
If you want to win now, the Lakers is the best.
I don't give a shit who we got to get rid of. I will drop them. I will drop their asses off myself for Damian Lillard. I promise you, I would.
Yep.
So I'll be honest. Jonathan actually took mine because I've been kind of saying that even before the NBA season started. I said that they needed to get Luka a solid number 2. I think either Zion would have been a big thing because to get Zion out of New Orleans, be a big star, have a compliment number 2. Zion doesn't have to be the big guy. He doesn't have to be the main dude.
Oh, he's the big guy.
I feel like
you know what I mean, Coach. We know he's a big boy. He been eating all that Cajun food down there. We know
he did. What he been eating? He been eating po' boys every day.
That po' boy.
I feel like Dallas Mavericks are more likely to get Zion than Damian.
Zion Williamson's in the wrong city because on Bourbon Street, good food. Some good jambalaya, some good
man, and that's the thing, man. It ain't even just Bourbon Street. Like if you ain't never been to New Orleans, boy, I tell you, if you go to New Orleans, you automatically gonna put on 5 or 10 pounds if you stay a weekend.
Oh, I know I would. I would be going
I
the next.
I have trouble gaining weight enough as it is.
Let me
go book a flight to. Let me go book a flight to New Orleans.
I'm definitely trying to. Whenever y'all do, let me know. I want to go because I ain't never been.
I've never
been either, and I used to live in Texas. So.
Oh my God, I've never been to the. Hey.
We gotta go. We gotta plan a trip.
We all taking a trip on Coach's expense.
No.
Coach said, hold on, wait a minute.
Doing that.
But no, I think Dallas would be a legitimate spot because I mean, you think about it, Dallas is a big market, but Dallas is obviously a football town. That's going to be pretty much the big thing. So for Dallas, if they wanted to make some type of a NBA footprint, and as far as making it a place for other big free agents to want to come to, what two bigger names than Luka and Damian Lillard?
It adds star power and stability.
Exactly. Now, there is going to be another team that I know he probably wouldn't necessarily be a fan of, but why not add greatness to greatness? And I'm not going to say the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to say the other team that the Los Angeles Lakers was built to beat in the East. I'm going to say the Brooklyn Nets. Why not replace Kyrie with Damian?
That might be interesting.
I don't know if he fits there because he's gonna want the ball as well, and so will Kevin Durant. So I don't know how that will play out.
He might, but think about it. We kind of thought the same thing with James Harden because, well, for the longest time, James Harden had to be that guy in Houston. Dame has had to be that guy in Portland. Now, if you have a dude like Kevin Durant, look at James Harden. James Harden's kind of been like, I don't have to be that guy anymore. I can step back. Kevin can take over, and I don't care.
Yeah, that kind of takes the burden off of Damian's shoulder and James Harden's shoulders.
And same thing like Coach said, you're in New York, you're going to be immediate box office, you're going to immediately have everybody on you, you're going to be able to build your brand, you're going to be able to build everything. And, again, take it as a learning opportunity to be able to learn somewhere and then take it somewhere else. I already see Freddie.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Here we go. Oh, hell.
This show was going great.
We was doing so good. And
it was running smooth until you got here.
Hold on a second. Let me see.
How are you guys doing today? What's going on, Coach?
Oh my God, y'all are over 500. Oh my God.
Hold on.
I have the banner set ready.
A little bit. Come up to the camera a little bit.
You were saying.
Is she showing out, Coach? Is she showing out?
Nah, she been hushing out, dog. Everybody's been hushing.
They got that hair in. I see you.
You feel me? I had to do a little something.
Real quick.
But it's just a Jonathan. Now, what was we talking about a few weeks ago? Or last week?
No, yeah. Let us go on a run. Let us go on a run first. Let us go on a run. Let's go on a run first before we get excited. Here it is. You know what?
Hey, did we talk about getting flagged for copyright?
Right, yeah. You finna get us copyright.
Ray said I won't get copyrighted because it's from this mixer. I already asked.
Oh my God. Anyway, moving on. All right. So speaking of trash LA teams, are the Clippers better without Kawhi Leonard? Coach, I'm gonna start with you.
Tony, don't do it because it's gonna turn into a Laker conversation. I'm just telling you.
Oh, that's why Freddie's going last, and that's why we're not going to talk about that first NBA topic.
Nah,
we might gotta save that one, Tony, for another show.
Exactly.
yeah, subject for a different day.
Let's pull up this one.
Go. Not Freddy Krueger. I can't.
Hey, Damien. Hey, good thing the power that I have, I don't have to be called to come on the show. I hop on when I get ready. Now, how about you hop on here and see if you want to smoke? I doubt it.
Wait. Why don't you let Coach give his side?
I don't mind the smoke, so I come on.
They need Kawhi. Kawhi's gonna get you. He'll get you there. He's gonna miss 60 games, but he's gonna get you there when the playoffs come. So yeah. Like I don't understand how people get like so excited for this regular season, this December basketball. Like it's a long way, man.
If you're a basketball fan all year round, you would.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, but you can't like.
I've been paying attention more towards college right now than I am NBA. But when NFL season, is over, I paid a little bit more attention to NBA.
But the thing about basketball, and we all know it, basketball is about runs. It's whenever you hot. Because there's teams, you can go over the years that was first at the beginning, was hot at the beginning, won 20-some games, and then they disappeared at the end. And there's teams that started off slow, and all it takes is a 2 or 3 game run. So, but I respect Kawhi.
Kawhi, he's gonna miss a significant amount of games. He's
right there now, don't you?
Wait, what? I'm sorry. I updated my camera, my profile thing on the camera, and then it's I'm
confused because
what?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't know what's going on. I'm so lost.
But the guy who should have stayed in Toronto and had dreams to play in LA is gonna be a factor for the Clippers moving forward. They're gonna need his services.
What's up?
What up, Damien?
Well, look who they came on.
What's up?
Now, what you got to say about my Lakers now, sir?
Oh, here we go. This
Hey, come on.
That's not what we was talking about, Freddie. This is not what we was talking about.
Freddie. This ain't the Lakers show. This is
No, this is not what we was talking. We wasn't even talking about them.
No, Damian is in the.
we should
But that's not the question, Freddie. That was not the question. The question don't have nothing to do with the Lakers right now.
Well, look like they saving you from that smoke, sir.
Freddie need to make his own Lakers show. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah.
This network has enough space for him to make his own Lakers show.
Hey, look. All I could say is we whooped your ass. So,
and who's your team?
Bulls. Now what?
Hey, I'm gonna do you like I did the Warriors and go to the Phoenix Suns. I'm gonna give you the same thing I gave them.
We kicked y'all asses so bad y'all had to change the name to y'all stadium.
Here.
Oh man, God, come on, let's move on.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna tell you like I told Warriors fans and Suns fans.
That game happened weeks ago. Come on, man.
Congratulations
I'm just saying.
to your championship, my friend.
Tony, moderate the show, please. This show was
Tony, please tell these gentlemen to hush.
Hey, say don't.
Like, we didn't have to do this. We were doing so good.
Yeah, I can't talk trash to any team right now because my team's not doing so well.
Right.
Who's your team, Nate?
Nuggets fan.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, okay, other than Miami Heat fans.
Anyway, so do you think that there's concern because Luka doesn't have the ability to close out on a big game?
Yes.
Sensei, we'll go with you first.
I think yes, because and this is not to take away from Luka's greatness or say that he's not a great player, because I do think that Luka's a great player. However, I just have noticed that there is a certain drop off in as far as his level of play once it gets to the later minutes of the fourth quarter. He doesn't have that same swagger, that same energy. Kind of like he looks lost, or I don't know if it's lost or he looks lethargic, but it's just not the same energy that he comes with in the first three quarters where he's just on fire and he just is putting his foot on the gas. So I don't know if maybe he needs to figure out, like, as far as pacing throughout the game, like when to turn it on, when to kind of turn it off a little bit, or to take a step back. I'm not sure if that's what it is, or if it's just something that he just needs to learn to push through. If it's endurance, like I said, I'm not exactly sure what it is. I've just noticed that he's just not the same guy in the fourth quarter that he is in the first three. So I think it's concerning, just because if we're going to put him in that crop of young superstars who are the next crop of NBA greats, you got to be able to get it done in the fourth quarter. That's for any superstar. They've been able to do it in the fourth quarter. And I just haven't seen enough from Luka. So for me, as of right now, there would be cause for concern. Now, if he's able to correct that, or he's able to figure it out, then, I mean, that's just an added bonus to his greatness. Because like I said, Luka's already great. He just needs to find a way to be a closer for that Dallas Mavericks team, which he just isn't there yet. So that's my opinion.
Yeah. He wastes all his damn energy in the first two quarters and just goes into beast mode. And then by the time the fourth quarter comes, he folds, and the same Luka. That is a bit concerning, but we all know what Luka's capable of. And he can be a closer. He has the potential to close out games and finish ball games because he's an otherworldly talent. And we know that about Luka, but he's going to have to show it.
Mm-hmm. He finna open up a whole can. Please don't do this. We was doing so good before y'all started this shenanigans.
Tony, let Damian go. Let Damian go.
Y'all need to create an NBA and talk about it over there.
I'm just interested in what Damian's going to say.
This ain't the place. There's a time and place for everything, and this ain't the time.
Tony, you're muted, bro. You talking? You haven't given us a debate topic. He muted.
You know what? I'm gonna be a good person right now. Just for y'all. Now, what was the question?
Tony, you muted, bro. The question was, Do we think it's a problem that Luka Doncic cannot close out games? He tried to find a way to troll.
Yes or no?
I'm gonna say, yeah. The problem is, he ain't got no backup. He ain't got no one to. I mean, he got he yeah. He got an injured Porzingis that can never stay healthy, and
that's besides Luka, that's their best player.
yeah.
Well, supposed to be anyway.
Y'all,
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you what it is. Damon, he's hot in his keyboard, but he get on this stage, he get kind of scared because I'm on the show. Coach, go ahead and take his answer.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I said, Coach, not me, Sensei. Don't come from me.
This show was going so well.
It was going so well, and then here come the shenanigans.
You want me to leave?
It just took a hard nosedive.
You want me to leave?
No,
you didn't brought the shenanigans, man.
We're
Coach,
just
you can stay. You can stay. You just can't talk about 3 teams. You can't talk about the Lakers. You can't talk about the Cowboys. You can't talk about the Packers. That's your 3 rules. Those 3 teams you can't talk about. Packers, Cowboys, Lakers.
We can't go back to the past. We can't talk about a game that's like 3 weeks old.
Here comes Katie.
Yeah, who got that playing?
Who got that? Yeah, who got that?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious who has that playing out in the background.
I have no TV, nothing on my computer.
I don't even have the TV.
Yeah.
Is that Freddie?
No.
Hey,
Why would I ask the question?
nah, I think one thing about Luka is Luka has to do a better job of getting everybody else involved, and he has to pick his spots. I think he gets so carried away because we know he can get his. So it's kind of like, he's got to play kind of like LeBron when LeBron came. LeBron picked his spots of when he's gonna score. He gets everybody else involved. I think he does that. That'd be better in the long run because he's not on that level yet where he can just take over by himself. I mean, nobody can do that. So
listen here.
Right, he's exhausted by the 4th quarter because he's already carried the team.
I don't know, Coach. We seen one man, and we seen one man do it, and matter of fact, we saw a little reminiscence of it last night. Did we, Sensei?
Oh,
did we or did we not see Jason Tatum? Did we not see Jason Tatum come out there last night, blazing from the 3-point line? He like 4 on it, and did we not see a king step up?
Here we go.
Step up and say, "Knock down a dagger, papa." Knocked down another jump shot. Papa. Did he just went on a roll? Did he or did he not, Sensei?
He did.
Freddie.
He did.
I was trying to say
He did. Listen. I'm only saying that because that's my boy. I would normally not entertain Freddie and his foolishness with the Lakers, but because it's Bron, I got to get my boy.
Did he not show us old school Bron that's coming out there? I thought he was Steph Curry the way he was shooting.
Freddie.
Oh my God.
Freddie. Let me chime in real quick. The win was convincing. The win was, and I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but the win was convincing. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, Freddie. It's one game. The Celtics, they stink. They're not as competitive as most teams that the Lakers have played in the past. Let's see how well the Lakers play tomorrow.
Hey, Chris, cool out, Chris, cool out.
But you know what, Jonathan? This is the same team that blew us out a few weeks ago. So guess what? I'm taking a win by win, and I'm so happy what I saw finally from my team yesterday. I saw my team compete,
and it was encouraging.
I saw them play defense.
Wait. But everybody else is the regular season champ, and y'all going into the playoffs, right?
See, Tony, I can. You know what? I can easily go in and put things together and make a debate, make it sound good. But try again, sir. But hey, all I'm gonna say is, Coach,
Freddie.
What?
You know every other team beat Boston too, right?
It don't matter. We got blew out by them a few weeks ago.
Tony, what's the
Coach,
next topic?
hey, Coach.
Well,
Hey,
see,
Coach,
Coach
you up
just
there
asked
smiling because you know what y'all was hoping.
I think that
Tony,
Tony, I think that should be
about
that should be it. That should be it. We should be
Tony, put him on mute.
Y'all didn't talk about it one time this show.
if
put it
if
up.
I bring up the next topic, this show is gonna go on for like half an hour.
It's gonna go for like 2 hours. So let's not even do it, Tony. Let's not even do
Yeah, it's not worth it.
please.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it at all.
In the show right here before it gets out of
Yep,
here.
because we're gonna be yelling this. It's gonna be too much.
Well, it's been another great episode of Just Saying the Truth. I'd like to thank Coach for hopping on tonight and helping us out here.
Yeah. Beautiful, Tony. Beautiful.
We don't do for an hour. This is not just saying the truth. We don't do that. Not here.
No, Freddie. It's you don't understand. You don't understand because this next topic is gonna send everybody through the roof, including you, and we don't have time.
What's the next topic?
We don't have time. No, Coach. I'll message it to you.
Because every time we talk about the Lakers are
because it's gonna be too much.
Our LeBron James.
I'm putting it right
Freddie
now.
over here gets delirious.
He looked at it. Oh no! Oh God!
In the show, Tony.
Hey, I will say this since he's not on the show. I know one team they lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
You better leave Mike alone. You better leave him alone.
Come on.
You better leave him alone.
I know there's a team.
Leave him alone.
It's down south.
You better leave him alone.
Hey, hold up.
Coach,
You know I'm a Bulls fan up here, right?
Update for the Bulls. I bet you
I
won't.
don't care if you're a Bulls fan. That don't.
I'm just saying.
No, Coach, I bet you won't go to the group chat.
That kind of hurts.
Hey, I bet you won't go to the group chat and say I need an update on the Bulls game.
No.
Here you go being petty. Tony, in the show. Please in the show.
Question
Nate's the one running the production.
Hey, all I can say.
I will take that away. Don't you do that.
Hey, it's going live in the ocean at Ocean Drive right now.
Hey, is Steph Curry?
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.
I thought he did it.
That's the question.
I was gonna get up. I thought it was on.
You said what?
Is Steph
I was gonna know.
Jordan? That's the question.
Then LeBron. Don't finish it off if you're gonna say it all.
Yeah,
Finish it off.
the whole question.
As in what, basketball?
Yeah. Hold on.
Yes.
As
far as the reason why. Okay, so Tony, I'll do it because I brought this topic up, and this is the reason why I asked, because there was a quote that came out by Steve Kerr, I believe, and he was saying that there was parts of Steph's game that was really close to Michael Jordan. So on first take, they asked, is Steph Curry closer to Michael Jordan than LeBron James? That is why I posed the question, because that's where I got it from.
And Freddie, don't say nothing until I finish.
Oh, that's all. Tony, mute him, because you know he going.
Now, if you talk about athletic basketball skill wise, hell no. I think LeBron is the most athletic basketball player out of everybody. Just straight up top. If you're talking about that. But if you're talking about like an era game changer, yes. Because one thing about it, you look at Jordan, and Jordan got out his because he came in at the right time where you take Magic, you take Bird, all of them were leaving. Like they were on their down slope. So like Nike, McDonald's, Gatorade, they jumped on the bandwagon and they made him bigger than what he really was. That's one thing. And now you take Steph. You gotta realize, man, Steph changed the whole they changed the whole style, because guess what? There's no position. No one plays positions anymore. When Jordan was in, there was first, you had a point, you had this. When you watch Golden State plays, you don't know who's the point, you don't know who's the two. And then one thing about Steph made the normal guys, no disrespect to Nate, no disrespect to Tony, really believe like, hey, I can play basketball. Because when you look at Steph, he's not an athlete. He's just a guy that worked on his craft over time. So he has the non-athletic people believing that they can play basketball. In that aspect, yes, I can kind of say that.
They're just laughing right here.
Honestly, Coach, I think you hit the nail on it. You're right, but oh God in heaven, Jesus
Coach,
Christ.
this
Go
all I
ahead.
gotta say to you.
The worst thing in the world somebody could have done is give Freddie that computer with sound effects. That is the worst thing that has ever happened. It is
in the history of this show.
In the history of this show, that is Freddie getting that computer with sound effects.
Because now he's by that.
Now he's a child. Now it's just pressing buttons. This, you know what? Go ahead, Freddie. All right, okay. So here's the thing, Coach. I totally agree with your standpoint. As far as just the dynamics of how Steph has changed the game. You can't deny Steph's impact on the NBA today because let's keep it all the way honest. Like guys weren't shooting distance threes the way that they're shooting them now before Steph Curry. Steph Curry, he's expanded offenses to the point where the defense, you now have to pick up guys damn near at half. You have to pick up Steph at half court. Like you can't let him even cross half court because once he crosses half court, anything that he shoots inside of that line is pretty much guaranteed to go in unless he's just having an off night or it rims out or something like that. But Steph is the greatest shooter we've ever seen. But we have to understand this, and this is a main factor when we're comparing players against past players or even current players. We have to understand the difference between great position guys or just great all around. Steph is a great shooter, like the greatest shooter, like I said, we've ever seen. Outside of that, Steph don't really give you much other than that. I mean, you have, like I said, he's on offense. He's a nightmare because he can finish at the rim and he can shoot. But on defense, people are picking on him on defense. He's not a great defender. You know what I'm saying? He's not all that big, so he can't guard all positions. He can't, go at every position. He gets a lot of his shots off of screen and rolls or a lot of guys, setting picks and things of that nature for him. I'm not saying that he can't create his own shot, but it's a lot easier when all you have to do is pretty much pass the ball up and get yourself open. You know what I'm saying? Like that's pretty much what the Warriors offense is just getting him open. And then if he's getting double teamed, getting it to the open guy for the best shot. But when we're comparing people to Jordan, we got to understand like Steph is, like I said, for what he does is he excels at that. There's nobody better at that than him. But when we're talking overall, like the people that are in that class, it's Jordan, Kobe, and Bron. Like there's no room for a position guy. And Steph to me is a position guy because he's great. He's exceptionally great at that one thing. Other than that, it's pretty much, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty much a drawn conclusion after that. So I get it as far as just like impact for what he's done for the NBA, as far as like how he's changed offense or how he's just changed guys' complete game in period. Because now you have to be able to shoot the distance three, but like closer to Jordan and Bron, like that's kind of crazy. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But
that's ludicrous.
Yeah. But anybody else can go. I'm done.
I mean, but that's the thing. Am I the only one that watched the Jordan era? Like lived it?
I did too.
Say okay. Well, no offense to you, Coach, but there's only two.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm 30 now. Damn it, I may not have been like in middle school or nothing watching it, but I watched it enough to know.
I was in elementary school when Jordan was dominating the league.
I mean, the thing. I hate when like.
What's up, Coach?
What's up, Coach? What's up, Coach?
What's good, y'all?
His Rockets is out here beating the Nets, so he feeling good right about now.
They won.
It's all right victory, man. Last night,
114 to 104. They won.
Oh, they won. Okay, so all right, Coach, pop your collar a little bit, Coach.
I'm all right.
Go ahead, pop your collars.
I don't get too overhyped, man. Because I know how this team play. I know we're a very young team. And we beat three playoff teams this year. But I just love to see.
Put it on the table. Put it on the table, Coach. Put it on the table. Three playoff teams.
I'm just happy about to win. And we got revenge on James Harden, and we just beat James Harden. I'm happy for how well these young guys compete. And Steven Silas, I got to give a big shout out to him. How much he changed the culture, and again, this defense has been playing very well ever since he got in that 3-2 zone, switched it up a little bit, and started discombobulated team. So I'm very happy that Coach Steven Silas to get this team turned around, and beating 3 playoff teams is basically showing potential what this team can be down the road and down in the future.
Oh, definitely.
Listen here. I'm tired of this blasphemy y'all talking about.
Here it goes.
Nina Jordan and more than LeBron.
Here we go.
No. Hell, and hell no. Coach.
Freddie, last week you said Michael Jordan was better than LeBron.
Actually, Jonathan, it's been longer than a week. Actually, Jonathan, calm down. It's been longer than a week. So I know you.
Hey. This is the same person. This is the same person that said Tim Duncan was better than Michael Jordan.
Coach, you know this one thing about Jordan. Nobody say about
thank
Jordan.
you, Nate.
Nobody say anything about Jordan about him. Changing the game and all that. We talk about
no.
When it comes to winning, that's what we talk about when it comes to Jordan.
No, stop. I didn't say he changed the game. I said the NBA made the game about Michael Jordan, and because if you look at it, and I'm gonna go through it again: Gatorade, McDonald's, Nike. Because guess what? Everybody on here knows, like Mike. If I could be like Mike, I'm saying it's different now compared to then. So they made, and Jordan was the only. You gotta look at it. Think about it. In 1990, 91, who was a star on the rise? It was just Jordan. Barkley was average. Union couldn't win a game. I'm like that. Those are the things that you got to. What I'm saying, like, and that's why they put Jordan on his pedestal that he's so high, not knowing he wasn't the leading scorer on it. He wasn't just the leading scorer. He wasn't leading in assists. He wasn't leading in rebounds. And he didn't guard the best player the whole entire game. People, you don't realize that, but you see the highlights and everything else, and you see the rings. That's why I said I only argue with people that lived in the era. I said Jordan and Steph Curry that's the one thing they have in common, because guess what?
LeBron though?
You're not listening.
No, man, I'm just asking you a question.
Freddie. First off, I think LeBron is the best player of all time. That's a whole nother. So I'm gonna get there.
Asking you a question, Coach.
I know, Freddie. I'm not talking.
Let him finish.
But Freddie, can I ask you a question? Yeah. How many people is 6'8" and can jump and move like LeBron? Wait. No, how many?
No, not any. Not
and guess what, Freddie, listen to this. Who made shooting threes cool? Because if you go watch the games, if you watch basketball, everybody does is shoot threes. We're talking about little kids and up. When you was growing up, it was dunking, right or wrong, Freddie?
Correct. That was the big thing.
Tony, right or wrong, it was dunking for you, correct? Jonathan, everybody wanted to dunk. Yeah. Sensei, you like the guys that can dunk, not the guys that can shoot a three.
That's not true. I
anyway, we ain't gonna get on
it is. That's not true. But go ahead.
But what I'm saying is the biggest thing about it is when Steph them came along, dog, it's the three. Just like right now, they got the game on and they counting every shot he takes. What are they talking about?
Yeah, they're not talking about the outside jump shot.
They're talking about the
three. What I'm saying is, Coach, when we talk about Jordan,
I was growing up, it was about attacking the basket and getting to the free throw.
But that's not talking about is he better than Jordan. We talking about when you talking about Jordan, we talking about winning. When people talk about Jordan,
Freddie,
never going through a game 7.
Freddie, I'm not talking. What I say from the beginning, I said before I started. What did I say? I said if you're talking about athletic ability and playing the game of basketball, I'm going LeBron all the way. I'm not a Jordan fan. I can sit here all day and argue about how LeBron's better in many different ways on the field, on the court, off the court, with his teammates. You can't argue with me with LeBron, but I'm saying how the NBA, even the NBA, dog, the NBA wants Steph to do well because you know why? Because when you look at Steph, Steph is the average ball player. Steph is the guy that says, "Hey, I worked on my craft to shoot." He's not doing phenomenal dunks. Hell, you don't see him dunking on nobody. He's running around, crossing over, shooting balls from half court. That's a normal person can do that, Freddie, if you practice. But you can't do what LeBron does because he's 6'8", 260.
But my thing is, Coach, I think it's when like I understand that, I agree with you that 100%. But what I'm saying is, we didn't compare LeBron to Jordan because of skill set. When you compare to Michael Jordan, is what have you done winning championships?
No,
that's not all the way true. That's not all the way true.
No, Freddie.
That's not all. That's not. No, that's not all the way true.
Come on, let me get it.
It's not just okay. All right. Okay.
So check this out. I want you to pause, Freddie. Think as a Cowboy fan. 6 years ago, 20 years ago, what did the Cowboy fans always say before Brady came? Well, we got 6 Super Bowls. We got 6 Super Bowls. Because that's all you can talk about. Think about it. When you argue about Jordan, what does everybody say? Well, he went to the finals 6 times and won it. That's all you can argue about. That's the only thing that you can take out of Michael Jordan's game, that he went to the I'm about to say Super Bowl, went to the championship and only won 6 times. Then it's not an argument. I'm not going to debate you. You see what I'm saying? Because you with like I said with LeBron, like I said, there's multiple things that you can sit there and say about LeBron. There's multiple things, and I think that's where you get me confused, because you think I said it from the beginning. I'm not a Michael Jordan fan. Michael Jordan will never be my first pick.
I agree with you, because that I'm just saying that's how I'm judging it. I mean, I know you judging how they changed the game and Steph Curry changed this and all that. I definitely understand what you know. I 100% agree with you. Steph Curry did change the game. I mean, hey, you have big men out there shooting threes for crying out sake. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm just going off the standpoint of the winning aspect of it. When to me, Steph Curry shouldn't be in that conversation just for that reason, because the expectations it was for LeBron, the expectations was for Kobe, to be in the conversation when it comes to Michael Jordan.
But Steph has the expectation for that.
Do he?
Yes.
I don't really count the championship he won with KD.
Oh, you don't have to, but that's the beauty of it. You don't have to count them, but they changed the game. Like,
you have to acknowledge it though.
Because let me ask you a question. When LeBron plays against Steph Curry, then what position does he play? Defense.
Oh, he's small forward. I mean,
who's he guarding?
He's guarding KD or Draymond, one of the two.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, when you look at them, you don't know who's bringing the ball down the court.
They both do.
No, not they both. They all do. But when LeBron plays, who's bringing the ball down the court 9 times out of 10?
LeBron.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they changed the game, dog. Like, the game has changed. The 3-pointers was popping. And hence the fact, why do you see? Look, hell, you even said about LeBron then. What is LeBron doing? He does what? What'd you say?
He bring the ball down.
No, he shoots too many what?
Threes.
Because I remember you talk about it all the time. He shoots too many threes all of a sudden. Because that's what's popping.
See, in the 90s, it used to be the point guard.
Because he made that popping, dog. He made it popping shooting threes. He makes shooting threes fun. Hell, I got my son over here. Goddamn, my son is 6'1" in 8th grade. Guess what he wants to do sometimes? He wants to get his big butt out there and shoot threes too, instead of getting in the post.
Yep. All them kids at my elementary.
So he got the Anthony Davis syndrome.
Probably because
he didn't have that syndrome tonight. He was in that post tonight.
I'd rather be going from the 2, but you score more points.
Hey, Coach, I gotta ask you a question on that. Because you're a coach. You said you give your son who's better in the post than he is. Because a lot of guys, like you said, the 3-point shot is more dominant and more, effective and everything, all that good stuff. So a guy like Anthony Davis, hey, he has the talent, okay? Talent to be one of the top 5 players in the game. Hell, he has the talent to be better than Giannis Antetokounmpo. But what takes him difference is that Giannis' mindset, he packs all the time. All the time.
I'm sorry. I just thought that was hilarious. I just had to put that up there. I'm
So,
sorry.
how do you go to a guy like that is dominant like AD?
But that's
in the post, but he won't just take two jump shots.
Yeah.
Like because you.
But that's the thing that you got to realize. That's what he is. Like you want him to play something that he's not. I mean, if you were watching the show earlier, we was talking about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a runner. That's what he is. Like you can't expect him to do something different. You can't expect him to get up in the post. When have you seen him in the post ever in his career? Like, I didn't see it in New Orleans. I didn't see it when he was with Kentucky. Hell, that's why they lost, because he didn't get his big tall. But you are what you are, and he's a soft, tall, lanky kid that can shoot over people. He's not a guy that's gonna get nasty.
As a coach, you wouldn't have a conversation with him.
But let me ask you a question. They didn't have that conversation in 8th grade. They didn't have that conversation as a freshman. They sure didn't have it as a senior because he went to the University of Kentucky. When they were undefeated, Calipari didn't have that conversation. Because you know why? Because he was scoring 20, 25 points. Like you want him to change and be physical. And you see when he get pushes around and you get mad, and I'll be like, that's what he is. Like you can't change him what he is. You can get a better shot, but you can't tell a guy I need you to be tougher. Because he never had to do it. I mean, that's even like I said, I take my own son, he's sitting over next to me. Guess what? We get in the post, I bang with him. So now he understands, like, this is how I have to be. I don't want you to be soft. You see what I'm saying? We started at a young age. He is a All-American McDonald player / I went to the Final Four. I took a team to the Final Four. I took the New Orleans Pelicans to the playoffs. Doing what he's doing. And now that he's in Los Angeles, that everybody watches, you want him to change. No, he's the same dude. He just
Los Angeles that win championships when you address it loud, sir.
Well, hey, you can say what you want. I'm not gonna go about you. They won championships, but it is what it is. But right now, you want something that he's not.
Here we go. Oh my God, Freddie!
And see, Jonathan.
Nadia, Jonathan over here about to have a nervous breakdown. Just let Freddie do what he's trolling you, Jonathan. You got to understand that.
The Lakers are probably going to lose many times. Freddie put the hat.
But Nate. See, but that's the thing. Look what you do. I've seen Freddie. I've been knowing Freddie since he was in 7th grade, and I had to look at him. And guess what? He said stupid stuff like this. And Jonathan, I used to be just like, oh my God, here we go. Now when I look at Freddie, look, I don't even pay no attention to him. And then look. And then sometimes I just say, even though I know he got power, I just do this just cause. And then, and then guess what? And I'll be like, Tony, going to the next topic because it's pointless. Because talking to Freddie's just gonna go because he know he gets under y'all's skin, and I ignore him.
So he don't get out of my skin no more. I done learned my lesson.
Maybe I need to adopt your method.
Yeah,
you do.
And then it's Jonathan. And within doubt, this is what you say, Freddie. Would you like to place a bet?
No.
And see, and guess what? And once he says no, conversation over with. I don't talk to him no more because he just talking.
We bet no.
Freddie ain't finna place no bet while he's talking. He ain't finna place
What's the Lakers' next 5 schedule? Next 5 games. We can make a bet. We go 5-0. Pull up the schedule, somebody.
Oh, here he go.
You struggling to go to 500. What you
pull
talking
the
about?
schedule of our next 5 games?
You got Memphis tomorrow night.
That's a win.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You can say whatever you want, Freddie, but it's not gonna be an easy one. I'm sorry.
It's gonna be easy. A blowout.
I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies. You're forgetting that they're not the Boston Celtics.
Is John Morant playing tomorrow night?
Are you?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay, then exactly.
Nah, I'm not gonna make that
Lakers
bet.
better be up on their game.
What's our schedule?
Somebody he know the schedule. Oh, you know why you trying to act like that?
No, I really.
I'm bringing it up now.
He got Memphis.
So I actually have
OKC, Orlando, Dallas, Minnesota.
Coach, $50. There we go, 5-0.
Freddie.
He ain't making that.
Freddie.
Oh, they got OKC. They got OKC coming up, and they lost to them twice already.
Freddie, I don't want your money.
Exactly.
You know what I want, Freddie?
What you want?
I want you to take the head off real quick. Look. Everything on your head that's in this screen, I wish I could screenshot it. I want it bald. Eyebrow, all this. Hey,
that's a bet. That's a bet.
Hey, cause see, $50, man, you can go work. You can go work for about 3 or 4 hours to make that back. But you know what you can't hide? Because everybody gonna say, because every time you get on one of these shows, Freddie, you know what happened? They gonna see that and they go like, "Dang, what happened to Freddie?" I lost everything.
Virtually shake on it. I want to see this. I want to see
Did my
this.
mama say no?
I want to see this.
Wait, Mama said it. Mama said I had to stop you right there. We don't need to see that. We don't need to see that.
No,
We love Mama though, because she ready to get
because you look.
Yes, we love Mama, but Mama, he might gotta catch this word though.
See, Freddie,
he might gotta catch this word.
And that's what you call when you have faith and belief in your team, or you just running your mouth. See, and that's what they don't be catching on. You just be talking, and people respond because they be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he said something so stupid." They ain't getting his arguments. I tell you from the beginning, just like the Packers, just like the Giants, all we gotta do is bet. And I'm telling you, and when I get you a bet, it's gonna be embarrassment. I don't want your money. Money is. I want
my mama just spoke out. She told me no. I gotta listen to my mama. You heard that say
I kind of was coach. I don't like bets that involve money. I don't gamble.
Yeah, but see,
I don't gamble either.
It's not the money.
Oh, that's the best part. Your hair grows back,
but not for a while. And it's that.
Yeah. I'm gonna say he gonna have to sit with that for a minute.
Because guess what? He can't never come on a show for at least 3 weeks. And he's gonna be hat like this with a mask on. Come on, what you doing? I'm worried about COVID all of a
sudden. What mom don't know, you can't hide what mom don't know.
What mom don't. Hey, Freddie, just put a do-rag on and, like he said, have a little mask on. You be straight for like 3 weeks.
Also, you know what? Mama also said knock you out. So boom, there you
go.
Hey, mama spoke up. Hey, so nope. I can't do the hair part.
Hey, he low key probably texted his mom like, "Mom, come on here real quick and tell him no." So I'll have to do
it.
But hey, you know what?
I'm also bad for Philly and Dante below that they just been.
Yeah, I want to ask Philly a question. I'm gonna ask the question.
Shoot.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, Philly.
Hey.
You know, I think it's time for you to put out an apology to
America,
to the city of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia 76ers. Is it time to apologize to Ben Simmons to try to get him back?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Hey, this is his problem. Not, and we're make him pay for the consequences of his actions. So, in other words, karma's a bitch, isn't it?
So Philadelphia did nothing wrong, correct?
Well, technically, this is on Ben Simmons' problem. He's the one who's actually acting like a spoiled little bitch, and he's the one who's kind of just getting out of his own way. And other than that, he's going to be going broke by the end of the week.
That wasn't my question. And I don't really believe too much about the broke stuff, man. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
Because I mean, the dude get advertisement money, sponsorship money, NBA money.
But I mean, all in all, I don't think the Sixers should not apologize for Ben Simmons in the way that he acts. That's
so. You shouldn't. All right, Tony. You shouldn't apologize for them criticizing him when Joel Embiid did have 8 turnovers with. That he did not particularly play well in those playoffs. They should forget. I mean, let's not sit up and act like Ben Simmons was the only person that played bad. I mean,
I'm not saying that, but majority of
y'all criticized him. Doc Rivers went in a press conference and criticized this man. You got to believe. Yeah,
and I actually made a video about this too. Like everybody gets a part of the blame, but the one person that gets a lot of blame that should deserve the blame is Simmons for not taking the shot.
One shot.
Right.
One shot
compared to
multiple shots. No.
It's multiple shots that he didn't take.
I was saying, there's multiple shots he did. But it ain't just the one.
Is a diva. He's a diva.
Ben Simmons is stopping Trae Young with the opposite end, doing his job, while Joel Embiid is turning the ball, but nobody called him out. Nobody. He's never available because he's not healthy enough to play when it matters. But nobody ever calls him out. But we want to call Ben Simmons out. Are we sure we want to do that, Philadelphia? I mean, y'all just got relevant.
Yes, because Ben Simmons hasn't lived up to the hype.
Has Joel Embiid lived up to the hype?
This was a guy who was drafted to be that next big thing in Philadelphia, and it hasn't panned out. And he's acted like a diva, and he's pout and whined like a little sissy instead of manning up and instead of doing things that he needs to do to put his team in a better position to win games.
But has Joel Embiid
rest on his loyals. He didn't want to, refine his shot, and look what's happening. Now
has Joel Embiid lived up to his expectations?
What was that?
But has Joel Embiid lived up to expectations?
No, because his situation is
but
similar.
Nobody calling him out.
Wait, let me talk though. His situation is similar, but the thing with him, he wants to be better for his team. The thing with him is just that he's been hampered by injuries. That it's times that he can't stay healthy, but he actually puts in the effort, unlike Ben Simmons.
Why nobody call him out though?
I don't know.
Why don't Doc Rivers go in the press? Why does not Doc Rivers go in his press conference and say, you know what? I don't think I can win with Joel Embiid because he can't stay healthy. I don't believe
Doc Rivers is not the type of coach to throw his players under the bus.
He did when it came to Ben Simmons.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He came out and said, I do not believe I can win with a championship.
He didn't say he danced around that question. He didn't.
No, he said exactly just that, Jonathan.
I didn't hear him say that.
Go re-listen to it. Take a break from the show. Go listen to it. I'm gonna send it to you. You can bounce it off, listen to your phone, and then we can talk about this.
But I don't know what it is with Ben Simmons. I don't know if it's fear. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence. I don't know what it is, but take the shot. That's the only way you're gonna get better. Take the damn shot. But I think the fans are tired of him. I think they simply want him out of Philly now. And we've seen players get run out of Philly. We've seen it before. It's not the first time. It's happened many times. And Ben Simmons,
Jonathan, say no more. Please go to your phone.
He's not the answer. He's not AI. He's not
Jonathan,
the answer. Okay,
please mute your mic. Look at your phone. I just sent you a 50-second clip of this man saying that. Nate, mute him so it won't play on the screen, please. And Coach Dante, please give us your input. And we go back to Jonathan in a few.
Again, I think 4 out of the last 5 years, I believe, is a 3. We lost to the Boston Celtics because, again, let's not state the fact that Brett Brown has been outcoached as well too. I blame half of it on Ben Simmons for not showing up, but Brett Brown also has been getting outcoached and not making the adjustments as well. And for Doc Rivers to ever to come out and say, I can't win a championship with this guy, that means you have a lack of confidence in this guy, and you don't believe this guy can get you over the top, which has been proven that Ben Simmons have not been able to do that. But then again, there's no reason for how Ben Simmons need to be acting like this when he's not performing in the playoffs as well. And you got Tyrese Maxey in the game 6 performing, and Ben Simmons is on the bench because he's inefficient and he's not effective on the floor. Yes, he's a great defender, but again, he's limited in big time situations. Some situations you can't use him. He doesn't even want to go to the free throw line. So again, this is a guy that can't lead his team to the NCAA tournament or can't get his team to the even NIT tournament. This guy in LSU didn't even want to go to class. Again, I believe if he switched to the 4, Ben Simmons can be effective, but not at point guard. I don't believe Ben Simmons can be effective at the point guard situation. I believe at 4 he can be effective. He can be much better.
Yeah, and to
Jonathan,
get back
did you
to
watch
Freddie's
the video?
I did watch the video, and that's the
what
same
did you
video I
hear?
was telling you about.
So
No,
what
that's
did he
the same
say?
video I was telling you about.
What did he say?
He simply came out and said he didn't know. In other words, he doesn't want to throw him under the bus.
Philly. Hey, what's your real name?
My name's Robert, by the way.
All right, Robert. You
I love
you
your
made
discipline,
of
by the way,
Philadelphia.
Robert. I love your
Please tell Jonathan what Doc Rivers said, even though I sent him the video and he don't want to answer.
Like, and I have to agree with Jonathan because the way that he put it, like he doesn't like throwing a pit. The only guy who threw him under the bus, and Jonathan, you can agree with him this too, but Joel put it in the way he actually kind of said, and Doc Rivers said, "Look, I don't know the answers to that question." So in other words, without no disrespect, but he doesn't want to throw Ben.
Doc Rivers. The question was, he said he do not believe he can win a championship with him. I really want him not to
I think that's
copyright.
He didn't give us a yes or no answer.
Because I would have played the video on the show.
I think that, to be honest,
what he said.
If he had actually thrown Ben Simmons underneath the bus, I think that would have caused more problems in the locker room.
Exactly.
That's very true.
It would have probably
I'm
divided
going
that
to
locker
listen to this video myself. I'll be back in 50 seconds. Sensei, are you here?
I love your display in the background, Robert. That's pretty cool.
Y'all continue. I'll be right back because I want to verify that this was said before I go going on.
I'm telling you.
Man, are y'all really still talking about Ben Simmons?
Coach,
apparently so.
Freddie over here being stubborn like Jerry Jones right now.
What's wrong? What is it about Ben Simmons, Freddie?
He was talking about the press conference about like throwing Ben Simmons under the bus or something like that.
I mean, look, everybody threw Ben Simmons under the bus. Philly fans threw Ben Simmons under the bus. The owners threw Ben Simmons under the bus. His mama threw Ben Simmons, his own child, under the bus. But the thing about it is,
I did not hear about that one.
I didn't hear about that either.
No, I did not hear his fan.
Did she really?
Dog, everybody.
I think he was.
I was about to say.
He's just using.
I mean, the thing is that I'm gonna get off after this because I don't know about you guys. What time I get up comes early. But anyway, the thing about it is Ben Simmons is what Ben Simmons is. I think Dante said it earlier. He's not a superstar, but he's gonna play defense. I don't know if you say I don't know if you can sit there and say put him at the 4 because who no one really has positions anymore. Like it's really everybody. Half the team brings up the ball down the court. But I think the only thing is, and I truly believe this, he's a young kid because he's a young kid that for once he got criticized for doing something and he couldn't handle it. He don't have that. And he don't have the leadership, and that's one thing I don't give respect to the head coach for the 76ers because he has to have somebody to take the blame, someone to take the lead. It be the same way he blamed everybody in their mama.
Yeah, there's no leadership on that team.
And for someone like Ben Simmons, you gotta have that because one thing about it is we could go through players. If it was LeBron James would have defended him to the end of the world, right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry would have said, I need to play better. I got to put him in a better position.
Right.
Like even James Harden and KD would have said something. Like no one on that team has just said, "Hey, I'm the man." Because who's the man? Who's the man? You're a Philly fan because you got Philly sports. Who's the man?
Right now, nobody. But the fact, and you kind of hit it right on the head, and that's another thing too. Like Simmons, and like you said, like mentioned, like Curry, KD, like those guys know how to take accountability. That's something Simmons has been lacking. The word accountability, and I made and we've seen it. Even and like you said, he's not even a superstar. Yes, he's a great perimeter defender, but and with Dante, he lacks an offensive, basically an offense, which is now what the league has become the last couple of years, maybe even more. It's just like it shows that. And we keep telling Ben for the last 5 years to improve it, at least get something. Like at least if you're not afraid to take the jump shot, look, we wouldn't be saying anything about this if he had the accountability. He said, look, maybe I don't have a perfect jump shot, but
let me ask you this, Philly sports, real quick. You say he'll take accountability. What about Embiid coming in out of shape every year?
And that's another thing too. Like, and I criticized Embiid about that.
And I think that's the issue. The issue is there's no one that's teaching it and showing these guys. Because who's doing it? You say Doc's not doing it. Who? Like
I didn't.
I think in Philly they're doing what they want to do. They're acting how they want to act.
And at times, I mean, no matter what sport it is over here in the Philadelphia area, like we show our sometimes we have of sometimes, and that's the thing too. Like, and yeah, I mean, we do get a lot of hate that we do receive. It's just like we share. In other words, we kind of just show like how we voice, like, say if we don't like something like in like any particular moment, we'll say something. And at times, and like sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be bad. But yeah, I mean, like
Simmons needs some of that holiday humble pop.
Listen. And by the way, Doc, I re-listened to the interview. Doc Rivers said, "I'm not sure. I'm not sure right now, just because."
Oh, Freddie, let it go.
Freddie, you're right. Everybody said it. But at the end of the day, when you look at Philly, Ben Simmons is the guy that everybody's taking the blame for.
But I think
no matter what,
Robert in Philadelphia need to give
because no one took the blame for Embiid. Embiid should have dominated. Who the hell was the guard of Embiid for the Atlanta Hawks?
Exactly.
Right. But it goes back to the fact that Ben Simmons was all that money and he was supposed to be this superstar player for the Sixers.
No. But see, that's the thing. But that's the thing. Everybody, because he was the first round draft pick. Everybody thinks he's supposed to be a superstar. He's a good player. He's not superstar status. He's a good player. He's gonna give you what he gives you. Now you think he's gonna change the culture and change the team? No, it doesn't matter where Ben Simmons goes. He won't. he's a green for the like the green is for the God dang,
he's a great complementary player.
But he's no different than Draymond Green.
Right. A good defender, a great passer, but not a great shooter.
Who?
Ben Simmons is a great passer and a pretty decent defender, but he's not a great shooter.
And what is Draymond Green?
Just like you said, the same thing.
And that's the thing. They just gotta have people that fit around him. I don't. If y'all expect Ben to go out there and score 20 points, I mean y'all reaching.
Now, I will say this: the only way it might work at point guard if you put shooters around Ben Simmons, though. If you can put the actual right pieces and right shooters around him, or if you put him at the 4 position, he probably can make. By him being 6'10" and long and a great defender. He still can play point power forward as well. So if you push decent shooters around him, Simmons is good enough to play make that happen.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, Philly sport, because you're a 76ers fan, because you got to be if you got Philly sport.
Oh, true.
When was the best year in Ben Simmons and all of them were good?
I mean, there are very sporadic moments.
The best year.
I mean, I can't really place but he does really. I can't remember.
No. I'm saying the best year that the 76ers were good. What year was that?
I had to been. Oh Lord, probably it was probably a couple of years ago. That's the thing. So like, because we were
And who was the top dog on that team?
Right. I mean, at the time, Ben Simmons was pretty much carrying us.
No. When
Jimmy Butler, right?
When what's name hit that shot at the end, and y'all was on the game.
It was at Jimmy Butler, and that's the thing too. It's like we just could have, and that's the thing too. It's just like him and Butler. Like that's the thing too. Like I should just like, look, I get it, people, and I said this too. Like when I made the video, it's like everyone deserves the blame, despite the fact ever goes and close. And it's just like because like us like. We do kind of just like if we have like one like certain like there's always like certain players like when they don't pan out and like the way that Ben Simmons is going about it and like we kind of tend to voice it. Me on the other hand, I just kind of like not really want to because I know there's going to be some defenders out there, but in other words, it's like I think Philly would not be the fit for him. I kind of feel like he can be successful elsewhere. It just like I don't think Philly it was the city for him to be kind of successful. That's all I'm saying.
All right, y'all.
Because
One last topic for
gonna
tonight.
definitely get some criticism for his underperforming, and that's what we've gotten from him.
But we should have criticized Joel Embiid, Tobias
I
Harris.
get what you're saying, Freddie, but we didn't. Okay,
Philadelphia fans.
That is very true.
You know what? We should criticize the whole team. How about that? Since it's a 5-man roster, right?
Thank you. All right, we're almost to Christmas. I know I'm ready for Christmas.
Let's end this show. We've been going too long.
Some dressing. Hey, Coach, I might not be able to get on the show no more.
Tony and Alana already stepped out. That's how you know we've gone.
I'm blowing last topic. All right, before we
if it's about the Lakers, I'm leaving.
Who is the best
oh my God.
I'm leaving the same way Roddy left Oklahoma.
Who is the best team in the West? Coach Dante, go.
I'm gonna say tough, but I'm gonna say Golden State is the best team in the West. I'm gonna say Golden State is the best team in the West. I mean, Steve Kerr, that motion offense. Jordan Poole is very good. He's stepping up, but it's gonna be interesting when Klay Thompson gets back in that rotation because somebody has to go back to the bench. What if it's Jordan Poole or Andrew Wiggins? But Steph Curry, Draymond Green is just. Otto Porter Jr. has been a big pickup for this team, and like I said, I just think the Warriors are the best team in the NBA right now. I got the Warriors.
The Warriors are the best team in the NBA right now. They're playing collective basketball. They're a very cohesive team. Everyone is clicking at the right time. I mean, you got Jordan Poole. He looks really good. Otto Porter Jr. was a good pickup for them. Of course, you have Steph Curry, probably the purest shooter in the NBA today. There's no question about that. And they're doing all this, like I said weeks ago, they're doing all this without Klay Thompson, which is really, really impressive because now you could insert him into the offense and you could see how really good, you could already picture how good this team can be once he gets healthy and get back on the court. And then, of course, you got Draymond Green, a pesky defender who contests every shot, can get his hand on the ball, dislodge the ball, force turnovers, and if the Warriors are having a good day forcing turnovers, they like to run. They like to run, and they can get out in transition, and they can get the easy bucket at the other end, and that's what we've been seeing from the Warriors this season. And then how about Andrew Wiggins? He's been a difference maker as well on the offensive end as well. So I have to go with the Warriors right now. And I know Freddie disagrees because he's in the
As for me, I have to go with Golden State because, look, the thing is, it's like, look, they're pretty much, it's the same format that's been working for them for the last handful of years. Yeah, it's impressive that they're not working. They don't have Klay Thompson, but when Klay Thompson comes back, I mean, I think this team's going to play a lot better, even much at a higher level than what they are now, despite what the record shows at 20-4. You know, I mean, Draymond Green, like kind of what John said, you know, pesky defender. I mean, Jordan Poole, pretty outstanding player for them. Andrew Wiggins, I thought, I mean, he was going to be a bust when he went to the Timberwolves, but you know, kind of what he's doing on the offensive end for the Golden State Warriors, it's impressive in its own right. And then, you know, it's just, I think this, like, it's just a whole collective unit, even off the bench too. It's like that. It's just a collective team. That's just how I see the Golden State Warriors.
Right. It's a complete team. Absolutely.
I'm also going to have to go with the Warriors as well. I mean,
Freddie hates this.
Only other team that I can even see being involved in that argument is the Suns, sadly. But and Warriors next.
I think Freddie messed up his mic.
Because the mic knows he's going to say Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's just like
Mike already hates his pick. He's so predictable that the mic gave out on him.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Now we
All right,
can.
listen here. Listen. I'm going to give a round of applause to the Phoenix Suns and to the Golden State Warriors. So, you know what? Let's give another one. They deserve it. All right. You know, I'm going to give y'all.
It's past my bedtime. I'm ready to go.
Grown ass man, you don't got no bedtime. Listen here. Let me. It's time to give them a round of applause and congratulations to them for being the regular season of the first couple of months championship. Yes, Golden State looked good. Phoenix Suns look good. But you know who the best team in the West is?
Golden State. Anyway.
As if I didn't already know that's where Freddie was going with the whole.
Oh my God.
The whole thing.
But listen,
and I think now is a good time.
This wraps up another episode of.
This wraps up another episode of Just Say the Truth.
Listen here. We're talking about a Lakers team that is about to, over the first of the year, it's going to go on a run.
Wraps up.
It's going to go on a great run. It's going to shut these Warrior fans up next to me, a.k.a. Jonathan. A.k.a. Jonathan, Warrior fan.
Central Time, 9 p.m.
Hey, Robert, Jonathan's really a Warriors fan. He's not even a Laker fan.
That's not true,
How does the record matter, though?
Let's be honest. Why does it matter? It's because we know that quarterback put us in the best position to win football games. Does Aaron Rodgers?
Anyway, he's
Robert, like Maury say, and the lie detector determined that was a lie.
Robert and Coach, I just want to kind of let you guys know what Jonathan has decided a few weeks back, that he's a Warriors fan. So, hey, he represents the Bay Area. He represents the
Hey, Jonathan, you telling the truth, Jonathan. You telling the truth about that.
Let me give him a lie detector test.
You're not making no excuses for him.
It's something about the light-skinned brothers that he likes.
9.
No, it's something like that he like about him. So when you address him, address him as a Warrior fan, not a Lakers fan.
See, Freddie don't like it.
11.
Yeah.
12. I can keep going.
I'm not a fanboy, but it's funny because I have Laker fans
13.
who call me. I have non-Laker fans who call me a fanboy,
14.
and then I have fans like you, Freddie, who's very devoted to the team,
15.
and you guys want to call me out.
16.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, this was another great
17.
episode of Just Say the Truth.
18.
Hey, I'm gonna come on here all the time. I'm gonna come on here, make everybody mad.
18.
When we come back, the Lakers are gonna be on win another game. The Jonathan's gonna be happy because his Golden State Warriors might win again. So want to say good night to Robert. Thank you for coming on, Coach Dante.
No problem, Freddie.
Yes, sir. And the Golden State Warrior fan of all, Jonathan Mathis.
23.
Good night, Freddie. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Hey, Jonathan, you taking a trip?
Good night, John.
Good night, Freddie.
Jonathan, you taking a trip out to the San
Freddie,
Francisco?
good night.
Are you going to San Francisco?
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports all plays.